one another. Thank you. And I forgot to say that we are going to be recorded as well. As adults in this space, please respect one another, even if you may not agree with the subject that's being spoken. Anyone who cannot follow these guidelines, please excuse yourself. Please excuse yourself or we will remove you from the Zoom. Do we need to translate that?
Don't worry, we're doing simultaneous interpretation with the phone line. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure. If you need closed captioning on the meeting, once the meeting starts, please click on the CC button at the bottom of the screen. I will now provide details on how tonight's meeting will work. The members of the committee reached out to parents and the larger communities with a survey that was shared that obtained feedback and a list of questions from them that they would like to be asked tonight. I will call upon the co-facilitators who will read each of their topic questions submitted by parents. Now that I have shared how the meeting will work, before I turn it over to President Christy Angel, I would like to give a moment of silence. Hold on a second. I would like to give a moment of silence for healing for all members of the District 75 community dealing with extraordinary circumstances right now. So can we have a moment of silence, and then I will turn it over to Co-President Christy Angel. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to apologize. Our council is having a bit of technical difficulties on tonight, so I am unable to be on camera with you guys, but tonight is more about you than it is about me and or the council. So I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out to tonight's meeting with the Office of Pupil Transportation. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to hold this meeting tonight, and we thank you all for your participation in this very important discussion. At this moment, I would like to introduce the council members who are present. Give me one moment to look within the chat. We have Vice President Christy Montalbot. We have our Secretary, Shanique Butler. We also have Council Member Karen Nunnery present. We also have one of our D75 representatives, Stephanie Bonilla. Thank you for being here as well. Give me one moment. I do not want to leave anyone behind. If I am missing you, apologies. I do thank you for being present at this time, council members. If I am missing you in the call of the roll here, please do let me know. However, thank you for being present. And what I will do is continue to move on so that we conserve the time. Members of the committee comprise of, and this is our busing committee meeting through our CCD 75 council. The members of our committee are open to our council members, parents, and community advocates. The purpose of the Committee on Busing is to provide district-wide advisory oversight of students using all modes of transportation provided by the New York City Department of Education, other than transportation provided in a parent or caregiver's private vehicle or other transportation a parent or caregiver may take to transport their child to and from school and a program. The committee is also charged with advisory oversight of student safety in and around school bus vehicles. We advocate for parents, caregivers, as well as school personnel when student busing and busing safety are concerned. We disseminate pertinent information relating to these issues. We recommend changes to chancellor rules and regulations, and when necessary, we recommend legislative changes to New York State statutes. At this time, I would like to hand this over to our FACE liaison, Jose Gonzalez, to introduce members of OPT, District 75, and FACE. Jose, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. President. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce from the Office of People Transportation, Lackawanna Chamber Executive Director of Communication, as well as part of our team, Brendan Brandon. And also I check it on the participation here just to see if anyone from the district also is present. And Ms. Chambers and Bannon, if you would like to say any few words before we begin with questions?
Sure. I know you said before you begin with questions, but will we do our presentation or no?
Yes, that's correct, right, Christy?
Yes, we're letting the floor speak. Laquana, you will have a moment. You will be the first person to speak, but I think Jose is just going through to just see who is here on the floor so that they can speak after you in order. But if you would like to go first, Ms. Chambers, we can go ahead and continue with the agenda per record after you finish what you do have to say.
Okay, sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Laquana Chambers. I am the Executive Director of Comms and Engagement for the Office of Pupil Transportation. I am happy to join you all tonight to answer as many questions as possible and also just to give you an overview of the Office of Pupil Transportation. And
I'm so sorry, Laquana, could you please speak, slow your speed? We have interpretation,
oh, sure. I'm
simultaneous interpretation. Yeah, thank you so much.
So my name is Laquana Chambers. I am the Executive Director of Communications and Engagement for the Office of Pupil Transportation. I am happy to join you tonight to be able to answer as many questions as I possibly can and get back to you to the questions that I may not be able to answer. And also to just give you a brief overview of the Office of Pupil Transportation and things that we have upcoming in the future that we are excited to tell you about. Also, I have my colleague here, Brendan Bannon with us, who is going to be working the PowerPoint slide since I wasn't able to get connection for whatever reason. And then he's also going to be manning the chat. So if there's any questions that we don't get to, we ask that you do put those questions in the chat because we want to be able to answer as many questions as possible. But also if we're not, we can get back to you with those answers. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers, and thank you, Christy. I also noticed that Superintendent Kettler is also here with us. Superintendent, if you can just introduce yourself and make some statements, please.
Good evening, everyone. Like Miss Angel, I am off camera today because I happen to be on the road still. So it is really a meeting that I wouldn't want to miss because I know how important transportation is to our students. As you know, the majority of our students, almost 80% of our students take public transportation, even more than that, a higher percentage. And so OPT then affects their life in school in a tremendous way. And we are happy to partner with OPT to ensure that our students receive the service they are entitled to. And we are here tonight. It's almost to me a family meeting where we will explore all options and how we can improve the system at large to ensure that our students get to school on time and can, attend successfully to their educational needs. I know that some of you continue to have concerns. We will continue to meet and collaborate with OPT to make sure that your concern are addressed expeditiously and that your children can get to their destination and back to you in a timely manner. So again, it's my pleasure to be here. Welcome to each and every one of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Kettler. I'm gonna turn over to Ms. President Christy Angel.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you for any other members from FACE that are here that we currently did not speak on. We do thank you for being in this space. This evening, we will be having a dialogue on various busing topics that parents have brought to our attention with the Office of People's Transportation. There are areas that we surveyed with our community. The following are the areas: experience with OPT, Office of People Transportation, experience with their current bus company, driver shortages, transportation reimbursement, after school bus service, attendance due to bus para, late arrivals, and absence due to the lack of bus service. Give me one moment. I will pull up a presentation for us to share. Haylene or Jose, if you could take over admitting our parents into the room while I share, please. One moment.
No problem.
All right. Is everyone able to see the busing survey that we currently have available?
Yes.
Okay, one moment. I want to make sure this can scroll appropriately. Forgive me, guys. I am on a Chromebook, so I want to make sure you can see what I am seeing at the same time. One moment.
Also, Laquana Chambers, I still only see Brendan's screen.
Okay, one moment. Let me see if I can switch the share.
Christy, do you need me to
If you
stop
guys hear my
sharing?
son singing in the background, please excuse me. Actually, it should let me take over sharing. Do you guys see my survey now?
No, not yet, Ms. President.
It says I'm screen sharing, but yes, Brendan, if you could, just so if there's an issue, let me stop sharing. You stop sharing, then I'll try again.
Mhm.
Okay, one moment. Are members of the meeting able to see my screen now?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes.
Okay, my consideration is I'm not sure if you can pan down the screen as I do. Is the screen moving currently right now? Or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's moving.
It's okay, so all righty, let me move this back forward. Thank you. This is not an endorsement for Chromebooks. All right, busing survey. We're going to scroll down. The Citywide Council for District 75 recently distributed a busing survey to gain insight on parents' experiences with the Office of Pupil Transportation during the 2023-2024 school year. Parents were engaged via email, parent groups, and online communities such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Over 819 parents responded. The feedback received helped create the questions and recommendations presented tonight. Our objectives for tonight. The first objective is to receive firsthand knowledge of parent experiences in busing. The second objective is to determine parent feelings and communication regarding the services with the Office of Pupil Transportation. Our third objective is to obtain recommendations for effective change in services provided by the Office of Pupil Transportation. Survey results, the results that we are about to see are actual data and analysis of the 819 parents who did spend their time to give us their answers tonight. When asked, how often is your child late for school, we received the following answers. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 302 answered sometimes. That is a 37.6%. 345 answered never. That's 42.9%. And 70 parents answered always at 8.7%. When asked, have you needed to use alternative methods to bring your child to school due to busing being unavailable? We received the following answers. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 342 answered yes, 41.8%. 400 answered no, 48.8%. Multiple parents stated they relied on us stayed home with their child, walked, took Uber. Has your child missed school due to the excuse me? A moment.
Christy, you're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Okay, one moment. The actual screen just didn't go forward. Give me 1 second. We're on paras. Can you guys hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Yes,
When
we hear
asked
you.
how
Yes.
child missed school due to bus answers, out of 819 parents surveyed, 194 answered yes, 24%. 567% answered no, 70%. Additional answers: no, I drove my student to school. Yes, I lack of driver shortage, no show, OPT failure. When asked, has your child missed school due to the lack of bus pickup service or service, we received the following answer. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 266 said yes at a rate of 32.8%. 506 answered no at a rate of 62.4%. Additional answers was yes due to para, yes due to suspension, yes multiple no shows. When asked, has your child missed school? Has your child missed out on school after school programming services due to no busing service? We received the following answers. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 133 answered yes at a rate of 16.2%. 630% answered no at a rate of 76.9%. Additional answers: yes, due to late spending 3.5 hours on the bus. I take the student because OPT does not have alternate times. When asked, how satisfied are you with your current bus company on a scale of 1 to 5? We received the following answers. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 325 answered very satisfied at a rate of 39.7%. 154 answered not satisfied at 18.8%. When asked to rate your current experience with OPT, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest score, we received the following answers. Out of 819 parents surveyed, 250 answered 5 at a rate of 30.8%. 166 answered 4 at 20.2%. 302 answered 3 at 20.5%. 86 answered 2 at 10.5%, and 146 parents answered 1 at 17.8%. How would you describe the reimbursement process? At this time, I would like to hand over the floor to Co-President Daniels to continue reading the presentation.
Hello, yes. How would you describe the reimbursement process? Samples of answers from the survey. Never reimbursed, non-existent, I have not been reimbursed. My own vehicles, 750 plus miles and gas loss. I haven't done the reimbursement process because the forms sent are ridiculous to fill out line by line for 750 miles. LMAOO, nope, do better. They reimburse, I had no idea. Haven't received any reimbursement from OPT for summarizing or 2021 school year. I have to submit travel reimbursement forms weekly, currently waiting on 6 checks. Not applicable, didn't bother because lengthy paperwork, never got that info. So the next part of the presentation is analysis of the results. The first analysis was driver shortages and changes are causing delays in our children getting to school and receiving the services needed. The second analysis The chief most complaint is communication or lack thereof. The third analysis, parents are not aware of reimbursement and are having significant delays for reimbursement. Process is too tedious. Some will not try. Parents need a closer process and more awareness. Recommendations. Impose fines on non-compliance bus companies. Address the driver shortage. Better communication if all parties impose fines on non-compliance bus companies. Better planning, head count confirmation, routes, alternative routes. Email parents. Use the NICSA as you have stated you would. Parents have stated OPT does not even use the forms on there that parents are asked to fill out. The next recommendations. I'm going too fast for the interpreters, or are we good? Interpreters, you can understand me?
Yes.
Okay. Recommendations. Training bus staff on how to manage students who may not be able to follow directions right away and need support. OPT has to get deep in the bus companies. The old buses have to go away. We need clean working buses. Eliminate all third-party bus vendors or limit overhead IFNA of vendors to 10%. Don't require families to file 2 separate reports, AM and PM, for service interruption that lasts the whole day. Generate electric records of reporting that are public facing. I should get an automatic email with a reference number after every issue I report. The last set of recommendations. Training bus staff on how to manage students who may not be able to follow directions right away and need support. Every year, assess performance of route software and performance in course or student travel time, etc., exceeds the estimated confidence limits projected by the data science route project. We compete project. Please have a clear complaint policy that results in changes. We had official complaints that went nowhere for close to 5 months of the year. The last recommendation, offer bonuses to administrators that reduce IEP non-compliant routes, reduce climate footprint of buses, etc. Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
All right. Thank you, Co-President Daniels. I'm going to drop the screen share. This evening, we're going to have a dialogue on various busing topics that parents have brought to our attention to address with OPT. These are the areas that we surveyed with our community. Experience with OPT, experience with the bus company, driver shortages, transportation reimbursement, after school service, attendance due to para, late service, absence due to lack of bus service. As mentioned previously, the committee has reached out to parents and obtained a list of questions from them that they would like to be asked tonight. Our co-facilitator, who also we did not mention tonight, Co-President Andrea Daniels, is our chairperson for our busing committee. So this will be our direct point person for any parents who do have any issues. You will be hearing firsthand from Co-President Daniels and any other members that are associated with the busing committee. So tonight we will read each of these topics and questions submitted by parents, and we will call on our co-facilitators and our council members and members of the busing committee to help ask these questions. I will now hand the floor back over to Co-President Daniels.
Give me 1 second.
Would you like me to leave the questions off, Co-President Daniels?
You can start, and I'm trying to look for it. That's what I'm doing, but go ahead.
Our first question would be about after-school programs. our question to OPT is, would you be able to provide busing for after-school programs at least twice a week?
So good afternoon. I just want to let you know, I'm having some issues with my video. It's like some connectivity issues. So I'm just going to stay off so that I'm able to continue. It might be the bandwidth, but that's the reason why I am off camera. So in
Okay.
regards to the question regarding after school program, before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you for the survey results. I was able to share those survey results with Executive Director Glenn Risberg, and we are starting to look into those results and the feedback. This is the type of information that we want to receive because we want to make sure that our students are getting the best service that they deserve. And so we just want to thank the parents for taking the time to complete the survey and for the committee for sharing those results with us.
Awesome.
In regards to the after-school busing program, unfortunately, our current bus contracts do not provide transportation for after-school programming. However, we are currently working on provisions in the upcoming bus contracts for school year 25-26 that will include busing for after-school.
The second question is, can they, I'm sorry, go ahead, Co-President Daniels.
All right, the second question, can they get busing for kids that would like to go to the after-school program?
So that would be basically the same answer, right? Like we're working on, like, these are the contracts that we have are very old, and they're not up until and they're not up yet. But we are in the process of already trying to update the contract so that when we're able to rebid, starting for the 25-26 school year, we will be able to provide after school busing.
Okay. So Co-President Christy Angel, is Wanda here? Or do we have to continue this?
I currently do not see her here, so for the flow of the meeting, I will go ahead and read her questions. Under
Okay.
communication and 311 OPT complaints, we have the two following questions. First, what are busing rules? What rights do we have as parents? And what rights do my children have?
Okay, so this answer is kind of lengthy, so I'm just going to give an outline of it, but we will put a link to transportation rights in the chat so everyone can review it fully. But for the sake of time, I don't want to go through it fully because it is pretty lengthy. But the New York City Public Schools recognizes the significant impact school transportation plays in students' day at school. In accordance with Chancellor's Regulations A801, students and, where applicable, their families have the following rights to ensure students arrive to school safely and ready to learn. Bullet 1, free transportation based on eligibility to New York State DOE approved schools, a determination of their eligibility for transportation upon school enrollment, request of a free student Metro card instead of school bus service if living greater than 1/2 mile from school, a staff member at their school who can help with transportation concerns and answers questions, request and receive transportation information in the family's preferred language, and participate in school bus safety drills 3 times every school year and learn about transportation safety. As I mentioned, I will drop the link to transportation rights at schools.nyc.gov, and also families' responsibilities and expectations also on our website.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chambers. We'll make sure to follow up with that and post it on our website at ccd75.org. Our second comment or question under communication in 311 OPT complaints is, when will you provide better online forms for submission of complaints? I don't have the time to call OPT every time I need to complain, to have a complaint registered properly.
Right, so we are happy to announce that starting early this spring, we will be launching Service Now, which is a platform through Support Hub, where parents will be able to submit tickets electronically online and be able to review and see the resolutions in real time for those tickets submitted.
Thank you. Co-President Daniels, would you like to move into the bus routing questions?
Yeah, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it.
It's okay for us to switch since I just read Wanda's. We can just
All right,
just
no
rotate
problem.
as an.
So this one is the bus routes question from the parents. So the first question is, who determines the school bus route?
So to answer that, based on student information, bus routes are created to provide safe, timely, and efficient transportation that meets the students' needs. So of course, we have to gather all the information from the students who are taking the bus, and using that information, bus routes are created.
Thank you. The next question is, why is that OPT not honoring limited time travel times?
So New York City public schools, we always comply with all student IEP mandates. Also, we create routes with travel times as short as possible. I know all the time it doesn't seem that way, but with the amount of students that are being routed and the contract and the vendors that we use, we try our best to make the shortest routes possible for all students.
Okay, the next topic is bus companies. So the first
Yes.
question from the parents. Hello?
Proceed. Yes, ma'am.
Co-president, did you say something?
No, I said proceed.
Okay. So the next topic is bus companies. Bus companies. Didn't I ask this already? It's the same one. It's here twice.
Yes, we can skip down to drivers and shortages and
Okay,
staff.
I'm gonna do the next one. That's Wanda's, okay? So drivers and shortages / staff. The first question from our parents, are the matron and drivers trained to handle autistic / nonverbal children? Why is there not enough staffing for kids with special needs or behavior issues?
Okay, so to answer your first question, yes, bus staff are trained during on their onboarding process, as well as they have to do a twice annual thereafter.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, proceed.
Yeah, and then for your next part, there unfortunately does continue to be a driver shortage that impacts all of our yellow bus services. And so we're continuing to work with bus companies in developing strategies to hire additional drivers.
Okay, thank you. So the next question from our parents, what is the matron and driver's job on the bus? What they must do? What is not allowed? Why do some matrons and drivers don't wait to provide a cell phone number to contact them when it is necessary?
So for the first part of your question, that answer can get really long. So for that, I will provide another link to our website, but I will give an overview. And the website, the link is the driver and attendant certification process and responsibilities. So everything that are required for the drivers and attendants and their certification is listed on our website. We want to be transparent. We want to make sure parents know what is needed for those roles. But I will just give a brief overview. So all drivers and attendants, including all substitutes and temporaries, must be approved by their director or designee before they can begin work. This requires that all drivers and attendants must meet all requirements listed below, and that all required documentation must have been received by the Office of Pupil Transportation prior to a commencement of service. All documentation sent to the Office of Pupil Transportation must show the name, social security number, and company of driver and attendant. The photo identification cards that drivers and attendants are required to wear will not be issued until all requirements are met. So drivers cannot and matrons cannot have those roles without qualifying for their position.
Okay, thank you. Co-President Christy Angel, can you read the next two
I think-
questions?
Ms. Chambers, did you want to finish?
Oh, I'm
No, I
sorry.
thought she asked me a second question, and I just wanted to make sure I answered it.
Yes, the second question was, what is the matron and driver's job on the bus? What must they do? What is not allowed? Why do some matrons and drivers not want to provide their cell phone numbers or contact when it's necessary?
That was the one I
So-
read.
Right, yeah. So the second part of that question I wanted to answer, because I know I heard you, but I wanted to make sure I answered it. So
Okay.
currently, bus staff are not required to provide their personal contact information to the public. However, we are excited to say that we have launched VIA, which is a school GPS app, and that app allows parents to track the student's bus in real time. So if you download that app, you will be able to see your child's bus and track where it is.
We do have
Co-President,
some more follow-up questions there. I do want to ask two more questions under the driver shortages and staff questions. Our third question is, can bus pairs be automatically assigned, maybe from a pool, to the children with IEP mandates rather than giving the school staff the options of selecting which student they want to do what with, therefore eliminating the problem of students not having a bus pair at all for weeks and months later until one is finally found?
So while New York City Public Schools provides transportation for paras, that's through a partnership with the SEO office. So we've sent that question to them, and once we have a response, we'll let you know. OPT doesn't manage the hiring of paras. That's something that's done from the SEO office, but we do work in conjunction with them. So once we have that response, we will let you know from that office, because they're the office that manages the hiring of paras.
Thank you for that. As a piggyback question, we did have a parent ask, can parents be their kids' paras?
So again, that would be a question that we also would have to send to the Office of SEO. But it is my understanding that parents cannot be paras for their own students. But I can get further information on that. But it's my understanding that they cannot.
Co-President Daniels, you have the floor.
so we're up to contracts and allocations. Why does the DOE continue to hire bus companies that seem to not provide excellent service to our students? That's question number one.
And here at OPT, we are continually evaluating bus companies and route performance, and we actively reassign routes that takes away routes from a vendor if they're not performing. And we are hoping to be able to add additional capacity to continue to add to our ability to reassign work within the new contract that I have been discussing. That is something that is high on our agenda to make happen.
Question number two, how are bus contracts companies selected and vetted?
So bus companies were originally selected through a competitive bidding process. But companies are continually vetted through this various methods, including a review of vehicle inventory, inspections, and employee certification requirements. So once they go through the bidding process and they receive a bid, then there's things that we do to make sure that they are meeting their contract obligations. But like I said, contracts have not been rebid in over a couple of decades. And so that's why we're excited for the upcoming new contracts, because we'll be able to put a lot of new initiatives into those contracts so that students receive better busing.
Question number 3 under contracts and allocations are the allocations. Are the bus companies giving penalties? The parents want to know.
Yes, so if a bus company is found to be doing something that they shouldn't be doing, they receive monetary penalties that can be assessed to the bus companies for poor performance or as well as removal of bus routes.
Okay, we up to travel reimbursement. You want to do this, Co-President Christy Angel, or should I?
Absolutely no problem. What I would like to also say, as a citywide council, we do work with CCSE and other citywides. We do have Heather Daly that is in our comments. She is one of our point people from CCSE who works hand in hand with us. So please do feel free to reach out to her, reach out to our council as we move forward to collaboratively assist our parents. Our next topic is travel reimbursement. Can a better defined process for updating busing be created and provided to parents that share equal custody of a child or children? And the wait time to update the busing, when will that be established since a court order has been provided?
So to answer the first part of your question, we're always looking for ways to improve our policies and the ways in which people complete forms and the process, right? We don't want to inundate parents, but we also have to follow processes ourselves to make sure that we are able to fully reimburse a parent. And so we try to make the forms as easy as possible, even though it may not seem that way, but we have to make sure that we collect all the information so that parents are able to receive their reimbursement. But for the second part of this question, I'll have to take a look and get back to you, because this is something like court ordered. So I just want to make sure that I have the right answer for that. So we will get back to you with the question, with the answer.
Ms. Chambers, we thank you for taking the time to find the accurate answer for parents, and we will distribute that answer once you do find it. So thank you for taking the time for that.
Yep. Thank you.
Ms. Daniels, is there another question under travel reimbursement that we need to ask?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Question number 2 is, what is the standard process for reimbursement for alternative transportation for families to take their children to school? How long does it take for reimbursement? That's the final question under that category.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up for me a little. Can you?
I'll repeat the question.
Thank you.
Question number 2 under travel reimbursement. What is the standard process for reimbursement for alternative transportation for families to take their children to school? How long does it take for reimbursement?
Yeah, so I will also provide this link in the chat for you. But we have a link where parents can basically submit electronically for their reimbursement. So if there's a need for reimbursement, they go through the link and they complete the steps within the link so that they can be reimbursed. But I can just tell you the following qualifications for parents who can be reimbursed. So those are students in temporary housing that have bus service, students in foster care that have bus service, students transfer from temporary housing to permanent housing and have busing service. Students is mandated for transportation based on IEP 504 or impartial hearing order and has bus service. But we will also provide that link. And we process the reimbursements as soon as possible. I know sometimes it can take a little longer than we would like, but we are definitely working on those on a daily basis to get them processed.
Ms. Chambers, as a piggyback question, is there a way that the council may, if parents have submitted just follow-up questions about reimbursements, that we possibly could submit that to someone so that we can get a minimum of follow-up? I know that I will give you actually access to the entire survey. We've given you questions and other pieces, but I want you to have the entire thing. There are a lot of parents who are struggling to be reimbursed. 6 months is the longest that I've seen in the questionnaire. So is there a way that we could possibly expedite some of the longer people who have been waiting for reimbursements, or something that we can do to assist our constituents with D75?
Right. So I will, if you send us that information, that will be very helpful. If you can send that to us, and then we will try to work on those. But one, we do need to just have that information, and I can take it back to the reimbursement team and let them know, like, this is what we're hearing. I want to share that information with them directly, the results from the survey. And just figure out what we can do to move this process forward.
Absolutely. I want to honor the 825 parents who did. There were a couple more who trickled in after the end of the deadline, but there were 825 parents who did submit. I will give you full access to the entire survey so that we can support our parents and support you guys with District 75. The next questions are from GPS via app. And I know we have launched this wide. We have sent this out to our parents, and I know there are levels and layers of difficulty. So I will read the 2 questions that are presented from our parents. Why do you tell us info like the buses will use the app, and then when we ask companies, they have no idea what we're talking about?
So since the launch of the app citywide, we have seen increased subscriptions go up from bus drivers and bus companies. And so there are a lot of people who have been logging in and been able to use the system. But all bus companies are aware and are required to subscribe to the VIA application. So if you could give us a list of companies that are not subscribing, we will look into that definitely, because bus companies are mandated to subscribe.
Okay, we will definitely follow up there, but I will also just let you know, just as a piggyback and to keep this kind of brief, there are many parents who have subscribed to the app and it is not functioning in the space that it should function for them. They're able to get on the app, but they are not able to access any information that has to do with their child. I'll just put that out there, and I'll jump into question number 2.
Wait, can I just
Is
respond
there
to
a
that?
way?
Because
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yes, please.
So
Mhm.
that's not something that we've been hearing. So if those parents can, like, even screenshot if they're receiving like an error message or whatever message they're getting, or if like their screen is just not populating anything, that information will be very helpful to us.
Absolutely. I will make sure that the council forwards that to you guys for any parents that send this to us. It's been multiple that have mentioned that to the council, so we will make sure we forward that as of tomorrow or Friday. The second question was, is there a way for DOE to require all vendor buses to use GPS so that they show up on the app rather than relying on parents to deal with individual buses on an ad hoc basis?
Right. So like, as I just mentioned, all bus companies are required to subscribe. So like I said, if you know of bus companies that are not, or people or parents that are having continued issues, please just bring those to our attention, because we have to bring those to the bus company's attention.
Okay, Co-President Daniels, would you like to take the next section for changing bus companies?
Yes. Changing bus companies. There's only one question in this section. Is there an easier way to change companies? What would it be if it existed?
So we continually to review all bus routes, and when it is determined that a bus company route isn't performing, or they're performing really poorly, we investigate that, and then if it's necessary, we will remove that route from that bus company.
Okay, Co-President Christy Angel, you up next?
Yes, I'm going to speak the last question. Oh, actually, there is no last question. What I would like to do is elevate the floor to one of my advocates in service, and that's Heather Daly. I would like to give you the space to ask the questions that you were asking in the chat. And then at that point, since we've done accountability and recommendations, we can move forward to the parents' questions in the chat. But I would like to elevate you to ask your questions. The floor.
Oh, I was totally unprepared. I'm just trying to think. The feedback that I'm getting from parents most recently is, I know we have all seen an uptake in illness in our own children and our teachers in our schools, that we are in a COVID surge. We are in the middle of RSV and flu season. And I'm seeing a lot of requests from parents where the driver is absent or their matron is absent, and they are not being communicated until the very last minute, or they don't get any communication at all that they're not going to have a bus, or the bus is going to be 2 hours late picking up their child. And so my understanding is that all the companies are supposed to have a backup drivers to fill in, and sub drivers to fill in when there's absences. But this has become pretty problematic, and I'm getting emails on a daily basis, essentially. And then there's also just a couple of routes in general that pop up over and over and over again that don't seem to ever get a resolution that fixes anything. And then my final thing again is, I just want to hone in on the reimbursement issues. Many parents living in our city are living paycheck to paycheck to pay their rent, to feed their families, to clothe their families, and provide health care to their families. Our parents are also parents of students with disabilities, which adds more cost to our monthly budgets. And so asking a parent to choose between whether they're going to feed their family or get their kid to school is unacceptable to me. And then on top of that, asking them to wait 2 months to a year to see the hundreds and thousands of dollars that they've shelled out or put on their credit card to be reimbursed is absolutely unacceptable. And this is not the first meeting I've been to with OPT. I've been at this now. This is my 3rd year in this, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And in fact, CCSE came upon a civil rights complaint filed in 1977, as we're talking almost 50 years ago, and had some of these same issues in it. So parents come to these meetings frustrated, and I know you get it from us, but these are just things that just never seem to get resolved. So if you want to answer those 2 questions, and then just once again, just wanted to reiterate how important it is to pay parents back timely who are coming out their pockets to do your job. So thank you. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Heather. Sorry, Laquana. Heather's information, if you want to work with us or with the issues that you have that may be extensive beyond District 75, CCSE, Heather is a part of it. Those things are there. Please do still CC our council. Ms. Chambers, I will give the floor back to you.
Yes. So I would say that yes, busing call outs is definitely an issue, and we have been working with bus companies to ensure that they do have substitute drivers. We know they always don't call in a timely manner, but that is something that I will bring forth with the team. I don't know if you have specific examples, but we also want to ensure that parents are just putting in those tickets so that we can collect that data to ensure that we're able to have that information when we're talking to bus companies, to ensure that they are doing what they need to do so that parents don't, either not get a call or that it's such a delay in getting their children to school. The second question, I'm sorry, can you just repeat it? It was about the bus routes.
Yes, let me see. Is there an easier way to
Yeah,
change companies?
No,
Oh,
I
no,
was
it's
just gonna
Heather's.
say,
Excuse me. Go ahead,
yeah,
Heather.
it's me. Sorry. There, and I can contact you off, off this meeting, but I do have a couple, one I know in Brooklyn so I don't know if folks know on this call, because I know this is mostly District 75 parents, but OPT also does the routing for all the private school students that have an IEP, charter school students that have an IEP, and non-public school students that have IEPs. And there are a couple routes that are serving one private school in particular that has just been problematic from day one. And just doesn't seem to ever get a resolution that works. And so I just wanted to also bring that up. When you have a route that has consistent issues, I know you said sometimes you'll reassign the route, but what I see is the route is problematic for a few weeks. They have a lot of different reasons why, then things get better for a couple of weeks, and then they're back problematic again. And so how problematic does a route have to get before OPT 1 maybe evaluates whether there's a way to split a route into two, or to remove that route from the bus company and reassign it?
So I will say, unfortunately, due to the driver shortage, it's not going to always be the quickest option to split a route into two, just because we have to have enough drivers to cover all routes. So that's not always an easy
Yeah.
determination to get to. I think if you would email me this specific route, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I can.
So I can see the history of it, because it does make it a little difficult if a route is not doing well and then it starts to do well. And then, but you're saying it's kind of like ebbs and flows with it, right? It's not consistent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because it's not consistent, that would make it a little more difficult. But I would just want to speak with the team so that they can look into it to see one, what could be done, and just how much there's an inconsistency with a particular route.
Yeah, and it's just something that tends to come up. And we still hear of like very young children being on the bus for 2, sometimes 3 hours one direction, and on a pretty consistent basis, or they're dropped off to school an hour late every day, or the school is asked to have the kids ready to leave early from dismissal time as well. And that's instruction time that's being missed. And that's a failure to provide FAPE. So, we just always want to highlight those issues that are going on so they can be resolved as quickly as possible. But I think, communication with parents is key. So, and that's, I agree with the survey results. That's been my experience, is that 9 times out of 10, like, the parent is upset about poor service, but they're more upset by the fact that nobody is communicating with them. And so, like, some of our kids, if the bus shows up late, they're dysregulated for the whole day, sometimes more than one day. I know when my son was younger, for 2 days, my bus didn't show up, my bus was late. So he's not learning, even when he's in school, because it's so dysregulating to have their routine, switch at the last minute without any kind of priming or communication. And then parents are told to call OPT. OPT won't release any information to parents, even if they can confirm the OSIS number and all of that. OPT won't. They just give you they just start an answering service that when you call the helpline, and they give you a number. And they also, or they're told to contact the bus company, who doesn't answer the phone or transfers you around to 15 different people. So it's just frustrating as a parent.
I can piggyback what she said. I've had a lot of parents who recently have had issues with reimbursements, had an issue with the app, had issues with a lot of different things that they've escalated. And I will say this, thank you to John Benson. Thank you to, oh Lord, I don't want to forget everyone, Risbrook. And there's one other person, Kim, who's been extremely helpful. When we expedite things to you guys, you get it done. So thank you. We will continue to expedite. Parents, please let us know. And council members, you're still parents. If you are having issues with your children as well, please do use our council, CCD75, D75 council at schools.nyc.gov. We are here to assist you, to push your issues forward and help you resolve them. OPT is, I know everything is rocky right now, but I can say for the people that our council reaches out to, they literally solve things within less than 24 hours. So I'm hoping that we can maybe push this into a bigger frame and to continue to help parents. I believe we have one more question before we move into the public Q&A. We have several questions that are lined up in the Q&A.
Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Yes.
Christy.
Hi, my name
Yes.
is Monica Mars. I have a question because since beginning of the school, my son basically go to the bus in the morning maybe 5 to 6 times. So usually I drop him to the school because when I asked what time the bus coming, they told me like at 10 o'clock. So basically, you know, the bus coming like 8:30 in the morning and the school start 8 o'clock. So he arrived to the school 10 o'clock. So it's like every day the bus coming 8:30, yeah? So basically already from month, I dropping him on a school to be him on a time, and basically I'm running like 15 miles per 15 miles every day from one way to get to my job, and basically, you know, I'm late in my job. It's a little bit hard, you know. And I don't, when I coming to the school, drop my son, the bus making tour and going to pick up another kids from the different school, the same bus. Because I make the research and I call already, I spoke with the principal, yeah? So it's like one bus serving the, I'm missing the word. A service, make the service for 4 schools.
Ms. Malski, could you please send us your email so that we can contact you offline tomorrow morning to make sure that we support you and your student?
Yes, definitely.
I'm not trying to, I don't want to seem like I'm cutting you short, but I want to dive into this in the morning to make sure that we are supporting you in the manner possible and that we submit this accurately to the Office of Pupil Transportation so that they can expedite.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate. And thank you for the time.
You're very, very much more than welcome. Co-President Daniels, I also want to jump into Jose Gonzalez, our FACE representative. I know you have been monitoring the chat. Would you be able to lead us into the charge of the questions that have been submitted so that we can move forward? I just want to state that we do have a hard stop for the Office of Pupil Transportation at 7:30. So I would like to try to diligently get in as many questions as possible in the, well, excuse me, not 7:30, 7:45. So we want to try to make sure for this 31 minutes, we get in as much as we can. I will turn the floor over to you, Jose, now.
Wait, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Christina. Before we get into the Q&A, I know we did have the presentation, and I was hoping that we would be able to present it, especially specifically because.
No, yes, absolutely. We can take a beat for you to go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I can skip the beginning of it and you can just kind of share the presentation, but I did want to just talk about VIA and how people could sign up for it, and hope that that's also going to maybe alleviate some of the questions that we may have regarding VIA, since it is a new expansion for our team, and it is a way for parents to track their students. So we just think that that would be a big help in just a lot of the feedback that we have been receiving.
I'll lead you in the charge for that. If you can, for the spaces where you can't present tonight, if you could email that to me tonight, I will send it out on social media, put it on our websites, and send it out through MailChimp so our parents can have the information that we were not able to cover tonight.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Chambers.
Okay. Brendan, can you just bring up the presentation? We'll skip over the kind of overview of OPT just for the sake of time so we can get some more questions. But I did just kind of want to just do some quick information regarding VIA. So we're excited about VIA because families can now see the location of their student's bus. The New York City School Bus Caregiver app allows families to see their location of their bus on a map. We're hoping that this map will make it easier for parents who use Yellow Bus services and just provide a little more peace of mind knowing that the bus is on its way. And we're also working on new features for the app, like exact arrival times, to also help parents even more.
I can go.
So how can families use the app? So if you have an Apple or Droid, families can go to the App Store or Google Play and search for the New York City School Bus app to download it. If you do not have a phone, we do have a web-based, which is the DOE. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to talk a little slower. Sorry. The DOE.app.ridewithvia.com, and you can view the Caregiver app on your computer. You will need a New York City Schools account credentials to be able to log in. And if you don't have an account, families can visit mystudent.nyc to register and to receive support. In the app, we'll provide your student's route number and their driver's name on the top of the screen. If families don't see the bus on the map, they can reach out to the child's bus company with the route number to let them know that the driver has not described. As we mentioned, all bus companies are mandated to subscribe. So all bus routes should be available on VIA. And if you need help, we have it available. So to contact a child's bus company or schools, families can tap the support button at the bottom of the screen and follow by contact support. So we have sent out communications to families. By now, you should have received a backpack letter. We also sent out an email to all families who have their email address registered. Also, our website has full information on our OPT modernization plan. Well, we can also provide this link so that you can use this to be able to learn more about VIA and get a sense of what it looks like. We have put a course on Parent University. It's a detailed webinar that gives a training on how to use VIA. And we've shared one-pagers with advocates and our other partners. So what's next, right? So now we have VIA, but we do want to continue to modernize. And so what that looks like is we hope to have notifications on expected arrival time of the school bus, information about the time and location at which their child is getting on and off the bus, notifications about delays. We know that's a big thing. You know, Ms. Daly just discussed it, right? You don't know when the bus is going to be late or if there's delay. So we're hoping to continue to build this app out so that parents receive a notification through the app. And families will be able to use the app to share information just about day-to-day student attendance and busing needs for their students. And of course, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to join this meeting. I know we will continue to have Q&A, but this is just the contact information for us if you do have any additional questions and concerns after we finish our Q&A session. So just thank you for joining us today and taking the time. And thank you for inviting us to this meeting.
Thank you so much. At this point, we will open it up to Mr. Gonzalez to help us move forward with the Q&A questions and the questions that are available in the chat and the hands that are raised. Are you able to help us move forward currently, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, I see some, Bannon has been also responding to some questions on the chat. What I see, Ms. President, is a lot of statement. I don't know. I don't know if you want me to just to read and probably.
Can we read the 4 questions that are in Q&A, the 4 or 5 questions that are there, and then move into the chat?
Yeah, I cannot see it.
I can. I'll start. No, don't be sorry. It's okay. We had a horrible experience with busing in the beginning of the school year. One of the concerns we had was the matron was not helping my child on and off the bus. Even when it was visible, he had backpacks hanging on his hand and that it can cause him to fall down the stairs. The matron was also not assisting with putting his seatbelt on. I've never had this problem in previous years until now. My son was approved for new busing this month, but I see the same pattern that is occurring with the current matron. What can she do?
So just to be clear, neither matron you said is helping putting your child's seatbelt on? Is that the question? Or like
That is, it's
right?
looking
So
like the
it
matron is.
happened repeatedly.
Miss Vivian Delgado, are you present to speak to the question that you presented?
Yes. So the matron is not helping my son with the seatbelt or assisting him with his backpack. I just wanted to be clear on what their jobs are because he is limited speech, so he doesn't understand if you tell him put your seatbelt on. And there was occasions in the past busing that he would stand up while the bus was driving and nobody's making sure that he was seated with the seatbelt on. That's why now he has a new busing, but I see like it's the same thing. And I'm not sure if matrons' jobs are to be, there checking to see that he has it on.
Okay, I want to look into this specifically. So if you can just put if you don't mind sharing your contact information in the chat, and I will get back to you on a response for this. Because if there's been 2 matrons doing this, I just want to make sure that we are getting back to you regarding your son.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next question we have is from Miss Jenny Mascara, and honestly, this sounds like something that multiple parents have dealt with. I've had an issue with the pickup time for my son because the driver told me he was going to come 15 minutes earlier. But when I reached OPT, they told me they shouldn't pick him up before that pickup time, but that the school or OPT was able to tell me when his pickup time was. Also, I was told that it could change at any time. How can I know what time he's actually supposed to be picked up?
So bus companies should share their route time and route schedule with you. And so they should tell you basically the time that your child should be picked up. Of course, that's going to waver a little bit just because of possible traffic. The bus company and or bus driver can share the route schedule.
I never had that.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Secondary question. I know you just spoke about the VIA app, but Ms. Danielle Barker wanted to know when will we be able to update the information on the bus app?
There's no Barker. Charles, what do you call it?
I'm sorry.
If you could please mute while we speak. Danielle Barker stated, when will we be able to update the information on the bus app?
Can you just explain what kind of information you're trying to update? Like, are parents going into the app trying to update something themselves, or?
I'll tell you this, just a couple of things that I've heard, and I'll leave the floor for other parents to speak. Parents can get into the app and then it's blank. There's nothing there. There's no busing info. There's no info that they can use to track their child's stuff. They just have access to the app.
So they open up the app and then it doesn't show.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Ms. Chambers. Miss Barker is also here if you want to directly speak with her.
Yeah. So what I meant by that is that when you go on to the app, and it tells you like your information, it basically has like there's no name And then there's like a funny phone number that's like not linked to anything, because you're supposed to be able to receive like notifications on pickup and drop off time based off of like your phone number. And when you go to the settings, you're not able to update the information. It just stays blank, and then it has like a random foreign phone number. So you can't even go in to update the information to receive the notifications when the bus is actually at pickup and drop off.
Okay, so Miss Barker, I just want to make sure I'm clear. So when you log in, do you see your student's name?
So yes, I see information. It has his bus and the bus route, like it tells me when it's moving. But there is a section that it says push notifications to allow you to be able to get a text message saying that the bus is actually here or it dropped off. And you're not able to update that information because there's like a random phone number on it.
Okay, so
And-
to my understanding, and I will make sure I get clarity on this, the push notifications are not available yet. So you can see the the
Okay.
bus on the map, but the push notifications aren't available yet.
That actually was my question. Okay.
Right, and so we're looking to update that in one of the next iterations, but it's not available currently today.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Jose, I think we went through the Q&A. I wanted to jump into the hands that are raised, Mrs. Patricia Pert, and then Miss Melinda Wan. You will have the floor. And then Jose, if you can help us direct the questions that are in the chat after the two hands that are raised. Miss Pert, you have the floor.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Trisha. I'm calling about my son and the bus route. Before, my son used to have a perfect bus route. Well, in the morning, in the evening, he comes home very late. Which they switched the morning route. They gave him another bus route, which he never reached school on time. Never. Either they're 1 hour late or 2 hour late for school. He never reached school on time, so he get no school service in the morning. And I call pupils transportation over and over, and all I get is incident ticket, incident ticket, incident ticket. No changes. So I don't know how or what to do so my son reach school on time. I have to even start pay somebody to put my son on the bus because we all have to go to work. We don't have that money to pay somebody put your kid on the bus when the bus is supposed to reach at a certain time. When I start working, I set the schedule where we could put the child on the bus and go to work. It all changed. We don't have that money. So
Okay, yes,
anyway, we could get some help from the pupils transportation for the route for our kid.
Yep. So we're gonna look into this specific case. Do you know how long it's been since your route has been changed?
It's from November because I've been calling pupils transportation from November.
Okay, so since November. Okay, so can you just drop your email address in the chat and we will also just reach out to you directly so I can find out, the specifics on your student so that we can look.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. We will hand over the floor to Miss, I don't want to pull this incorrectly. Miss Taylor is next. That's the next hand that I see up. If I've skipped someone, apologies. Miss Taylor, you have the floor. Ivory Taylor, are you able to unmute?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was trying to find the mute button. So hi,
No worries, thank you.
good evening, everyone. So I have a few questions, but it's regarding a specific bus company, and some complaints that we have filed, and still there hasn't been any response to it. So, in regards to like pickup time, I've never had an actual pickup time. It's whenever the bus matron calls to say that they're downstairs. When school began, the pickup time was 6:15, and to my understanding, students aren't supposed to be getting picked up until 6:30. But it was expressed to me that in order for my son to get to school on time, he had to be picked up at 6:15 because the bus was picking up a whole nother school. Dropping off at another school before dropping him off at school. So my question in regard to that situation, if school is supposed to start at a specific time, how are kids being dropped off at two different locations and are able to get to school on time at the allocated start time? So that's the first thing. And secondly, my specific bus company, which is Little Richie / Logan, because they're the same, they're under the same umbrella. The Jamaica base specifically, no one, and I mean no one, since the start of the school year, answers that phone. I've called multiple times and I can't get anyone. And then I had an issue with the bus matron, and she told me that the bus company doesn't pay her bill. So she's speaking to me on her personal phone out of courtesy, which I understand. But if I can't get in contact with somebody at the actual bus company, I don't have a choice but to reach out to her. So that's another issue with that specific company. And then also, I've sent complaints because I'm the president of the PTA at for my school, and we've had issues where children have used the bathroom on themselves because they're on the bus too long. I had a situation where a bus para handed a bag of feces to a parent, which is disgusting and highly embarrassing to not only the kid, but to the parent as well. Like, there's so many things going on, and I feel like there's no way for us to contact someone with these major issues, because we contact OPT, we file these reports, and there's no follow-up. We call constantly with the same issue, and we're not getting any response. So it's like, at this point, what do we do? And who do we contact to actually get an answer? Because these issues are ongoing.
I'll jump into this with Ms. Chambers. The council is here to support you, period. If you would please reach out to D75 Council at schools.nyc.gov. We will make sure to expedite your issues, bring those to OPT, and make it come full circle so that we can escalate and close what's going on. So any parents that are on tonight, anything that you send to us, we will make sure to send to Ms. Chambers from this meeting, and we will also make sure to hold your hand and make sure that we resolve what is going on. If you would make sure that you email us at d75council@schools.nyc.gov. It is also in the chat. Ms. Chambers, did you have something that you wanted to add there?
Yes, one, Christy, I just wanted to say, can you please, is it possible for you to send us the transcript of the chat? Because I want to make
Absolutely.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I just want to make sure that we don't miss anything.
I'm going to send you
because-
everything tomorrow, the full survey, the chat, anything that's attached to this OPT meeting, you guys will get in full raw data. You'll get it all tomorrow.
Okay, so one, I wanted to say that buses are not allowed to double up. So if that is happening, right? Like if that's what I think that's what you're saying is happening. If that is happening, that is explicitly forbidden. So we definitely need that information so we can look into that.
Right, but I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I've called OPT and filed complaints about this, and like you said, it shouldn't be happening. But in the complaint, I mentioned that it's happening, and nothing has happened.
Okay, so again, if you could just, I have to definitely just look into the specifics. So, if you can just, if you can drop your email in the chat so that we can see what is happening with this route, and then I can send it to the applicable team so that they can look into this.
And more
Because-
importantly, for members that are here, not to interrupt you, Ms. Chambers, if you've not taken the CCD 75 bus survey, it will give us more information to pass along to Ms. Chambers and her team, your information, your contact, the specifics that you have for your child. So if you don't get a chance to email us, just fill out the survey. It will be a part of what we do send to Ms. Chambers and her team so that they can follow up. Say it again.
Where are we able to get the survey from? Because many of us as
I will
parents
put the link.
did not receive it.
Oh no, that's not good. Let me put this in the chat now so that parents can take the survey. And we will try to do a little bit better about trying to make sure that we reach more parents. Apologies for that.
I also would like to say, as a social worker and someone who's very much a part of the city system as a social worker, I understand that as a system-wide, it's, across the board, there are issues. And I get that so many of us are trying to work exponentially to service these kids in the right way. And I think we all have very good intentions to do that. And that's evident here in us meeting together. But I do want to make a statement and just, if we could have more meetings like this with written up accountability and a way to have a plan of action in place to see that there is solutions that are being done. Because I myself, with my child, I've called OPT, and again, I'm not saying anything against anybody. I think that the system is so overloaded with these issues, and we're at a max that, these complaints and these, concerns and these issues related to our children going to school, being picked up on time, getting to school not an hour late, to be present in attendance, to not miss their first period or second period. Plans need to be put in place, and I hope that we do that. And there is some accountability from the bus companies being a little bit more considerate and understanding to, the situation. And I understand routes are being done by OPT in a way that's suitable to meet every child's needs. But I can tell you that my son is the last pickup in the morning at 8 o'clock. He doesn't get to school until 8:45. And there are kids that start on their route at 6:30 in the morning. So that first kid who's picked up is on that bus at 6:30 in the morning. And until he gets to school, it's 9 o'clock. That should never happen to any of our kids. They should not be on a bus going to school with us as parents trusting a system and be on a bus route for more than 2 hours. That is insane to me. And I am not just a mom to special needs kids. I service these children for 20 some odd years. Working in OPWDD, working for the city hospital system, and it's across everywhere. This is a huge concern. My child has thrown up on the bus numerous times, has gone to school soiled. It's embarrassing. And not only that, the system is failing our kids. I think meetings like this are imperative. Yes, I just want to finish, and I will say this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Meetings like this are imperative for all of us to have a concentration and add to an action plan. That's all I'm asking for, is for us to be accountable, to help out in the best way possible, and to meet the needs of our kids. I've been dealing with busing issues as well when Jonathan was in CPSC in the bus company, and it was horrendous there. And when I came to, him transitioning to CSE, I don't see it better. It's downgraded. Again, I think everybody, from all different agencies and you guys coming together and putting this meeting shows that you actively care. But we need results. I think it's come to a point where things need to be implemented. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your feedback, Ms. Rocknav. We need people like you on our busing committee. Everyone that is here and present, if you would love to be on our busing committee and push forward as advocates for our District 75 community, please do reach out. We need you. We need you. We impact a bigger punch with you. Please give us your information. Let us know what is specifically going on. We are here to be advocates for you. Ms. Rocknav, I have your information. If I don't hear from you first, I'll reach out to you first.
Absolutely. Do you need me to send my email?
Would you please? Yes, please. Yes, please.
In the chat or just in the
Q&A?
Q&A?
In the chat is perfect. And for anyone else, my email is Christy, CHRISTI.angel@me.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. That's just my personal email. I love to advocate for people, as many of us council members do. And I'm going to be quiet because there are 4 more hands risen. Miss Sarah from PIST NYC, thank you guys so much for the help that you've given the council. I would like to give you the floor now.
Hi, thanks. Okay, just to touch on a couple of things. Do you have a date for the next meeting of this committee? Maybe when that happens, we can talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that parents are doing, to change the system, some legal, some legislative, and also just helping each other and passing the advice. So that was one. And then for parents, if your child rides Nice Bus umbrella service, they are having some, not most, but some of the drivers based on seniority did pick, and the matrons pick tomorrow. So next Monday, if it changes, that's when your kid has a new driver. And then the next Monday, there's no school for that week, but the Monday when they come right back, then the matron changes. So the matron can still, be the same for 1 week to recognize who's who and where they live and what school they go to. But that's happening still at Nice Bus, and I believe Consolidated, maybe the people from OPT know, but the dates will be the same, whichever other company hasn't already recently had a switch of drivers and is represented by the union, ATU 1181. That switch is liable to happen later this month. So prep your kids and take our email to also copy on your complaints in case we have some further insight. It's pistnyc@gmail.com. And our website has many resources about what to do if you have no para, travel training, the rights for the Metro card if your family gets moved from a shelter, and much more. And that is pistnyc.org, especially the resources page. I think that's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I did put a typo on that email. She did say pistnyc@gmail. Is it gmail.org or?
.com, but then I was reading off.
Okay.
Oh, Stephanie put the website up.
The website,
Yeah.
pistnyc.org. Thank you, Stephanie, for putting that in the chat. Due to time, we do have, are you able to take 2 more questions, Ms. Chambers, or will we have to retire this to send to you after the meeting? Hello? I'm not sure if we've lost
Sorry.
Ms. Chambers. Oh, go
I
ahead,
was
go ahead.
I was on mute. I was saying like I would like to take the last two questions. I don't want to rush anyone, but we do have another meeting that we have to hop into. So
Yes.
I do want to try to answer those last two questions, and then I would have to head to my next meeting.
Understood. Thank you so much. So we'll give the floor to Mr. Juan Melinda, and then Ms. Katawada Lakshmi will be able to go next, and then we will close the floor for questions. Any questions that are unanswered, we will forward to Ms. Chambers and her team for follow-up. Proceed. Mr. Juan Melinda, you have the floor. Melinda Juan, are you able to unmute? Or is it Juan Melinda? If we're not able for Juan Melinda to start, Mrs. Lakshmi Katwada, are you able to unmute? Melinda Juan, I see you're unmuted. Are you able to speak? Hello? I think that Ms. Chambers, are you able to hear me? Is anyone able to hear me at all? I just want to make sure.
I can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
Miss, one more time, just for the floor to present chances. Miss Juan, Melinda, or Katwada Lakshmi, are you able to unmute?
Hi, this is Lakshmi. Yes, I'm able to unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, I drop off my questions on the chat, but I'm not quite satisfied with the answer. Like, I have another question also. You know, like my son, he's traveling on Q 558 route, and he's going to P255 school. But recently, I knew that he has so many students on the bus, like the students supposed to be like 13 or something like that, but including the matron, there were like 15 people in the bus. And then with the special kids, it's not easy for the matron also because they have a different behavior. And then some of the kids, they are not comfortable sitting with the other students. So I've been like reporting from the matron and the driver since last week, and they try to send a letter to the bus company, but they don't say anything to them. So they just provide us the information if we can help with that.
Ms. Lakshmi, will you be able to email the council so that we can forward your information over to the Office of Pupil Transportation at d75council@schools.nyc.gov?
Can you please put your email address on the chat so that I can remember that?
Yes, ma'am, we can. I will do that now. And for our last question, Ms. Rebecca Moran, are you able to unmute?
Yes, I don't have I do, and I don't have a question, but I'd be really quick. Ivory Taylor, she spoke on, on my son, I don't even know at this point, I don't even know what has been resolved in my case because I have 3 kids and 2 different sites. And my son was the one whose matron gave me his feces. He was on the bus for 2.5 hours, and then I asked them not to put them on the same bus because my son, he's in the 4th grade, but he still understands that that's like really humiliating for him. But he had to do both number 1 and number 2 on the bus. But they just, I felt like I was getting, like just, I told them, please do not put him on the same bus because he's humiliated. But eventually after 2 hours, 2 months later, like they put him on the same bus. And as vocal as I am, I kind of gave up because I was on the phone like literally like half hour to an hour like daily, and it was just being ridiculous. And one of the things like my older son, he has limited time travel, and he's on the bus for 90 minutes, and his school is only 7 minutes away. So like, and I do see his the bus app, and I do see like what the route is, and it's just so ridiculous like how the route is. So there are a lot of parents in our school who have gone through the same thing, and basically we're all just discouraged, and we feel like when we talk to the OPT operators, like they're just trained to discourage us because all they do is blame the bus companies and blame the school transportation liaisons, and we're like, well, let us talk to your supervisor. And they basically, it's just so, it's very belittling and humiliating how they speak to us. And anybody who knows me, I'm not a rude person. I'm very, I speak my mind, I speak it right, and I ask them, hey, just give me the incident room number and so on. My question, I guess, to Ms. Chambers is like, I don't know how these OPT operators are trained, but like, I don't understand why they keep saying that it's the school liaison. And like every operator that I spoke to, and I wrote their names, I asked them for their names, I asked them for the incident numbers, and then they all give me a different, like, they all give me something different. So like, I feel like even if the OPT operators were like properly trained instead of just being just belittling us and talking the way they do. I mean, we're upset and we try, most of the parents try not to be rude, but they escalate our frustration. And that's basically one of the things that happened. But we had incidences in our school where a student was left alone. The bus driver just left them at their home's bus at their home without their mom being there. It's just like, and then on top of it, what happens then? Their buses would then the whole route would be canceled, and a whole bunch of our kids for our middle school would not be able to have bus for a while. And this did happen in the beginning of the school year, but like summer school is approaching, September is approaching, and I dread July, I dread September as much as the other parents. Like it's just, and then on top of it, and someone else mentioned that the bus driver, like the bus companies, they just don't answer the phone. And it's just, the anxiety level on all the parents is just out, like it's just out of this world. So yeah, and that was my question. Like I just don't know how they're being, trained, but it would be nice if they were all trained equal, like the same. I wish they had the same, thing. And I hope they knew what they were talking about, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moran. Last question. Are you able to take one more question, Ms. Chambers, or do you need to leave? I know you guys have another meeting to go to. If not, we can forward.
So I do want to answer her, but I will ask that you forward the next question because I am getting pinged to go into the next
Will
meeting.
do.
But I just wanted to say that one, I am very sorry that you are experiencing this because no one should experience any of that you had mentioned. As far as the customer service reps, we have been working to update our scripts and making sure that we're doing continuous training and quality assurance when it comes to the customer service reps, because we want to make sure that they're giving out the best information possible. But if you would also just put your email in the chat, I would just like to email you what an escalation process should look like, so that if your questions are not being answered, how you can escalate those questions, because some matters are things that need to happen, expeditiously, and we can't take so much time to try to get back to a parent, and I completely understand that. But yes, you should know that we are definitely working to train our customer service reps as best as we can.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. I want to say thank you to the Office of Pupil Transportation for showing up for our parents tonight. Thank you for taking the opportunity to take all of the information that we will be providing to you to assist us with continued help with the parents. And I know you have to jump off and leave, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this meeting on this side. But please, parents, do know we will give all the information from the chat, from the survey, and from anything you email us over to Ms. Chambers' team so that we can follow up with you afterwards with our due diligence.
Yes, and I do want to just say thank you for having us, and I look forward to continued conversation and working in conjunction together
Do
for
not
that
do
students
that.
have better busing service. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you so much. Co-President Daniels, the floor is now yours.
I want to say thank you to the team of OPT and District 75. I also wanted to take this time out to thank our school leaders, educators, advocates, and District 75 council members for their hard work and dedication. to the students and families throughout the city. Thank you all very much for participating tonight and asking your questions, concerns, and engaging in authentic dialogue, and for your patience while we navigate this new improved process. Co-President Christy Angel.
Yes, I also want to say thank you. And this recording will be placed on the CCD 75 Outreach on YouTube's page, which is youtube.com/CCD 75 Outreach. This is also available immediately as a link on the council's website at ccd75.org. Also, please join us tomorrow for our joint hybrid business and calendar meeting at Tweed Courthouse, which will be at 6 p.m. You may also register for this meeting online at ccd75.org. Thank you again for your participation. Thank you again for your voices. We will now release the interpreters. Thank you guys as well. At 7:56 p.m. We will adjourn our meeting at this time. Please do know that if you have put your information into the chat and otherwise, we will be reaching out to you after this time within a week or so. And we want to say have a great evening. Please stay in contact. We are your advocates. We are here for you. We are a part of your voice. Thank you again for your voice, for your attention, and for your presence tonight. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.